starting. Okay, it looks like I'm live here. So we can do this live chat thingamabob. Peak concurrent. Now is that me or is it somebody else? If you're watching this video, long time no see. Just figuring out the particulars here of how this live stream junk works. I want to see if I can do something with this live chat thing. Man, just once. Open with Chrome. Using this on my relatively new Android tablet, which is a cheap one, but it's one nonetheless. So, anywho, who's watching right now? Incidentally, I'm pretty sure nobody's going to be watching this live, but if you are, please leave a comment, say hi, whatever, ask me where the crap I've been. Well, it looks like this, and just see the live chat thing is running, I think, and it is live, the duration, whatever the number means, but let's see. Forget that. Just gonna do the live chat thing here, and that will do. So, if I haven't stalled long enough, I'm back. Where the hell have I been? Well, I've been here, just not doing any videos on YouTube. Mainly because, well, as I'm sure any amateur YouTuber will tell you that just does this in their spare time, it just became a burden. I mean, it's too long to go into details for. Just it was becoming a pain to just block out a certain day of the week to do videos, and then block out another day of the week to do editing, and just having to do that week after week after week after week. And the time I stopped doing videos, I was actually going on an overseas trip, which meant I had to do a couple videos, hadn't had them in the can ready to go, and I just didn't have enough time for any of that. So I ended up taking a break from YouTube, and a 2-week break turned into 3 turned into 1 month, which turned into 3 months. I hate this. There are some parts of it that I didn't miss, like the time crunch of doing the filming and such. I did miss some of the interaction though with you guys, all 4 of you, but still. So I figured I'd come back, even if it's just for one day, to show you what I've been up to, show you what I've been learning. But anyway, enough of me with my spiel and what I've been doing. Let's get to cooking. And as you saw by the title, I'm going to be making a homemade fettuccine with a cream cheese marinara sauce. Now, how am I going to make homemade fettuccine? Simple. I'm going to be using... Ah, crap, it almost fell apart. Almost made a blooper reel. But anyway, I'm going to be using this. This is a pasta maker. Let me show you a little bit up close here. Yep, this is actually my father's old pasta maker, which he has not used in the last, what, 30 years or so. I asked him if he still had it. He said yes, so I gladly took it off his hands. And for the last few weeks, I've been making pasta like maybe once or twice a week. And when I came back to work this week, I actually made a whole week's worth of pasta for lunch, so it's really great in that regard. But of course, pasta is no good without a sauce. And I've stumbled upon a great recipe for some, again, marinara sauce with cream cheese. And let me just tell you, if you haven't had it before, it's something to behold. So let's actually get started with that cream cheese sauce. Let me get my stuff all set up. And again, you ain't got any questions, comments, whatever, just put it in the live chat there below, please. I'd love to get some feedback, even if nobody's watching. That didn't make any sense. But then again, it's Browns World, nothing makes sense. So anyway, let me move this thing here and make some uncomfortable noises with the jumbling of my cheap tripod. And since I'm filming this on my cell phone, it's going to be even weirder. Let's see if I can find a good angle here. Using the selfie mode on this thing is just to make it easier, but anywho. So anyway, I'm going to be making the sauce in this food processor. I'm also going to be making the dough for the pasta in this here too, so there will be some cleaning in between. But I'm actually going to make a half batch of what I normally make because I don't want a full batch, obviously. And we're going to start with our base, which is, normally I get a 28-ounce can of whole tomatoes. This time, 14.5. Now, I personally prefer whole tomatoes because they're of a higher quality than the diced or pureed stuff that you get in a can. What I've read, they said that the fresh plum tomatoes are absolutely the best, but if you can't find those, this is pretty much the next best thing. And I've already got the can opener out, so out goes that. Off goes the top. Oh, before I forget, I am also going to drain these. And I know a proper marinara sauce has the juices in it, but these tomatoes are juicy, so still good. I actually drain because I kind of like a thicker sauce personally, but that's just me. So anyway, in go the tomatoes. Tiny bit of the juice there. And for this condensed recipe, I'm going to be putting half a tablespoon of extra virgin olive oil. That is a teaspoon and a half. And I probably should have had a piece of paper towel ready to clean this off, but that's live video for you. Teaspoon in there. Now the half. Teaspoon and a half extra virgin olive oil. Yes, I know this is Walmart brand and probably not even real authentic extra virgin olive oil, with probably just with flavoring, but it'll do in a pinch. Getting a paper towel. So that's 2 ingredients down. Up next, yes, I know it's dried and real Italian cooks will scoff at dried basil, but to me, fresh basil is obviously best, but you can really only buy fresh herbs in large quantities, and I really don't use them in large quantities at a time, and you gotta use them right away. And while I might use some right away, don't use all of it right away. In goes the basil. I'm also going to put in half a teaspoon of salt. Over there. 1 clove of garlic. And I'm not going to mince it because the food processor will mangle that for me. Also going to put in a little bit of cayenne pepper powder. Also a half teaspoon. In goes the cayenne. Give it a little bit of heat, but the cream cheese will cut down on that. That goes on the side. And now a 1/4 teaspoon each of thyme and oregano. So now here comes the thyme, again dried, because I'm lazy and cheap. And now the oregano, as the people across the pond would say. just do a sanity check to make sure I'm not forgetting anything. I hate when I'm through a recipe and forget to add an ingredient. Or forget to add an ingredient just as I'm about ready to do something. But I think I'm fine. Usually I put in also a, for the full-size batch I do 6 ounces of tomato paste, 1 small can. I didn't feel like getting a can and only using half of it and wasting it, so I'm going to omit that here. Plus I think it'll be fine. Anyway, now plug your ears, folks. Here comes the blending, or the processing, whatever. One thing I forgot to get out was my shredded up rubber spatula. Just gonna make sure everything is blended up. Oh, it looks a little liquidy, but that's okay. I think it will take care of itself in the pot. Okay. That looks good for my money. I'll give it one more pulse just to be safe. Yes, I realized that wasn't a pulse, but just another processing. But just to make sure the garlic and been minced more or less. Potatoes, I mean not potatoes. Yeah, I'm gonna be making a potato sauce next time. The tomatoes, I should say. Potato, tomato, tomato, potato. It's been a while since I've done this, ladies and gentlemen, as you know. So anyway. Now previously when I made sauces off camera, I used a blender, but then I would get little chunks of tomato and like a tomato sauce or a juice or whatever. It wouldn't be perfectly homogeneous like it is here. So here we are, maybe 1.5 servings worth of marinara in potentia. So now let's get to putting this in our pot. And for that I will turn the cell phone live streaming camera once more over to the stove, where here's the water that we'll be using to boil and cook the pasta later. For now, let's see, the back burner's right here, so put that on 2 for a moment whilst move that out of the way. I think this pot might be a little too big, but you know what? Better too big than too small. Let's get this blade out of the way. And then spatula the remaining sauce in this bowl. I can feel the heat of the burner already. And I'm also flying blind trying to get this junk. We got a good bunch of herbs in that last scoop. You know what? I don't care if it blocks the camera view. I'm just going to do it this way. And I'm doing it wrong-handed too. But you can sort of see through it maybe. One more, I think. I reckon that ought to do. So let's put that on the burner. It's on low right now, level 2. And I'm just going to let that sit. Now, in the past, I've put this in the slow cooker for 4 hours or so, on high, 8 on low. But one, due to time constraints, I'm just going to do it quickly in the pot. And secondly, I've heard that marinara without any meat at all really doesn't need to be cooked very long. So, there you go. Crank that thing up. Get back into long view. That didn't make any sense. There we go. And now the marinara sauce is cooking. Notice I did not put any cream cheese in it. That's going to go in at the very end. So while we're waiting for that, I'm going to clean the food processor because we're going to need it for our next step, which is actually making the pasta. Stick around because you have to. Alright. But you know what? Let's see if there's any people who are crazy enough to watch this thing live. Put in the passwords in this live chat here. And this says comments hidden. I have a new subscriber. Yay! Thank you for joining. Welcome. What is this person's name? This is Tyler LaValle, or is that me or is that somebody else? I don't know. Let's see. But anyway, thank you for tuning in. Or thank you for supporting. Whatever. Thank you. Regardless. But anyway, time to wash this, or at least rinse out this thingamabob. Rinsed that satisfactorily. So now I'll use this paper towel to dry it in quick order so that we can make some pasta dough. No comments yet. Come on, you people, say something. Process score. I think it's as good as it's going to get for the bowl there. Put the blade back in. Dry off the top. Wondering whether or not I should use the blender for the sauce anyway, but I explained why. I didn't want any dead time while I was cleaning this out, but you know, I think it's gonna be fine. If you're still watching, thank you for dealing with this patience. Well, thank you for being patient with me. Here we go. My gut's probably sticking out to immense proportions on this profile view. Okay, that's done. Let's create some space, because for the pasta making, I'm going to need as much counter space as I possibly can. There, there. Okay, trash cans over there. Off camera, of course. Basil, olive oil in here. Okay. I need one more thing. This little measuring cup for the third ingredient in the pasta. So now, time to make our pasta. And of course, for pasta, there's really only two main ingredients in the pasta I use. That's some flour and something in this refrigerator here, eggs. Now, I'm just gonna make one serving of this for me. And the book that I read to make the pasta for the stuff calls for 3/4 of a cup of flour and 1 large egg. Now, from my experience, that's not enough to really turn it into a dough. But then you're just gonna be adding warm water gradually into that to finally get it to what it needs to be. So let's do that. Move the camera, make some noises with the camera, rumbling noises. Apologies for that disruption, but anyway, here we go. Now, where is the measuring cup? Oh, they're right behind the flour. The measuring cup I want is the 3/4 cup, and that is this one. Back there. So first things first. Yes, I know the proper flour to use is the semolina flour. That's what some people use for, a lot of people traditionally use for spaghetti and fettuccine pasta. This will do fine though. I've made it plenty of times with this and have had no ill taste at all. Okay. So, 3/4 of a cup of all-purpose flour. I got unbleached, enriched, whatever the crap. I've also got whole wheat flour when I make whole wheat pasta. Obviously, it's much healthier for you, but I figured this would be best for the cream cheese sauce. I still don't know how whole wheat pasta would taste with a creamy sauce. It seems kind of weird to me, but anyway. So I'll put that out of the way. Next is one large, or extra large in this case, if I can get the box open, one of these things, or at least what's inside of it. Now let me get my egg cracking device over the sink. Now, hope I did it right. I hope that no shells get in here. Oh, a little more maybe. Here we go. There we go. I think that did the job. Okay, primary ingredients are in the processor. And so now we blend this until it turns into a solid ball of doughy-like stuff. It's probably not going to happen first time out. Of course, you can see right here the egg combined with the flour, but it's still kind of dry and just like little clumps of stuff. That's where putting warm water in comes into effect. That's when I fill this thing with warm water and put it in gradually. A little bit there. Still not enough. Little more warm water. Doesn't take a lot. Not coming together yet, but it's clumping up bigger. I figure a little more water should do the trick. I think that'll do it. It's rumbling. That's what we want. Not quite a single ball of mass yet. Tiniest bit more should do it. Yep, I'm calling it. That's good. Let me put some stuff away first. No, I don't want to put the eggs in the freezer. Put the flour out of the way because I'm going to need all this counter space to make the pasta for real. Put that off to the side. And now let's see if I can do this in a clever way. This anymore. Don't need this anymore. But I do need this thing. Put it right here. And because this thing is gonna, pasta will come out here and then the noodles come out here, I need to clamp this to my countertop. This is a clamp. Again, in case you tuned in late, I've already made the marinara sauce. It's on the stovetop right now. It's basically just whole canned tomatoes, olive oil, a bunch of herbs and spices, and right now it's simmering on the stove right now. Let me check it real quick. It's bubbling slightly, so I'm going to drop the temperature down a little bit. Still got the top on, so. And now I'm going to do a little hack. You It's around here where I would usually have a cutting board or something, but there's nothing that's really good enough, in my opinion, to get it going here. So I'm going to put some wax paper here and actually going to tape it in place. Personal hack I do. Yeah. Sort of a surrogate disposable cutting board. It's not really a cutting board, I just easy for me to work with. And of course, tape it in place with duct tape's more mellow cousin, masking tape. There's that. And there's that. Okay. And like an idiot, I put the flour away because I'm actually going to need that to be an active part of this process of making pasta. So now let's take this. And in fact, at the same time, I'm going to turn the hot water on in the pasta water. So now let's take this stuff, the dough, which is more or less in one clump. Still a few clumps here, but that's not a big deal. Now at this stage you actually don't really need to knead the dough. No need to knead this dough, but you are going to have to use a liberal amount of flour at certain stages to keep it from sticking to the rollers. That's one thing you never ever want to see happen when making pasta is, well, just the fact that it's sticking to the wax paper is a bad sign. Well, not a bad sign, but just not something that you want to see when making pasta. Even the slightest sign of stickage, take your flour and incorporate inside and outside of the dough, which is what I'm doing. And also, you can't tell from this angle, but there are 7 different thickness settings on this little roller here. This roller is used to flatten and thin the pasta out and make it sort of a uniform width and thickness. And I'm going to start by putting in the little crank here. Let's see here. This dough feels a little bit thinner than I'm used to, so maybe I will need it a little bit. Either that or I'm just too used to whole wheat pasta, which gets a little bit thicker. But anyway, I reckon this will do for now. So let's get started cranking. This is the part of the show that's going to be like watching paint dry until we get to cooking the pasta. But that won't take long, thankfully. Up. You see it tearing up a little bit. That means it's still too watery, which means more flour. And the same thing on the bottom here. So maybe I put in a little too much water in the, in the food processor. But again, not too big of a deal enough. We can still add flour manually in this process as I am doing right now. Knead this a little bit, make it into something that can fit through the rollers. Let me get this out of the way. Hoping this episode would go incident free, but so far This dough still feels kind of on the light side, so more flour. Meanwhile, the sauce is bubbling like you know what. Well, you don't know, because I don't know what. Now let's see if this works. Still feels on the light side, but there's still a hole, and yeah, it's still tearing up. So much for the return of Bryno's world, putting too much water into the pasta dough. I'm now going to add copious amounts of flour to make up for that. I'm not even going to bother refolding that one up. Sooner or later this is going to work. Or am I even on the right thickness setting? Yes, I am. Let's try this again. Ideally, you'd want this to be as like just a sheet of dough. Ah, crap. And this thing is coming loose. So tighten it up a little bit more. Oh, the wonders of live video. I think we're getting to a better spot right now with the dough. So it's at this point where I'm just going to keep folding it into thirds, mashing it together, and then just going to keep folding until it's thin enough and smooth enough, I should say. But yeah, this is where I was hoping to be initially. These sides are still not perfect the way I'd like it, but it'll be fine. Dough's getting a little bit wider than the roller, so I'll fold it up in half again. I'll sort of have to start over, but that's okay. This thing is just coming loose. Now stay. You naughty pasta maker. Now this is looking good. Do some more rubbing of the flour. Rubbing of the flour. This is where construct and consume makes an inappropriate joke. If I don't see one inappropriate joke from construct and consume, I'll be disappointed. Okay. One more fold should do the trick. think I was one roll too many. I'm seeing a bit of a rip. And I see a rip of my hacky wax paper thing, so let's put another piece on there. This turned out to be a more involved process than I wanted it to be, but making pasta is an involved process no matter how you slice it. So let's get some more flour on this on both sides. But we are getting close to the point where we're going to roll it through the noodle slicers. Oh, that looks good. Wait till it gets the pristine width. Not sure if rolling slow is the best. Oh, a little bit of a rippage there, so rub it on that side. And another screw up. Some of the dough went through, some did not on that one side. But nothing that one more fold can't fix. At least I don't think. So here we are. Crank it, crank it, crank it. I feel good about this one. Crank it, baby. You know what? Looking at that, I'm gonna call it. And almost on cue, the water is boiling. We're starting to boil, so let's work semi-quickly here, not too quickly though. I'm gonna take out insurance on this pasta and put some more flour on it. Both sides. But now that I've got my dough at a spot where I like it, I'm going to thin it into the appropriate thickness for a fettuccine, which means I go from the one setting on the roller to two, and I'm going to do this one level at a time. And the crank comes out. In there. So here we go. Thin it out gradually a little bit. Still feels dry, so put it to level 3. It is level 3. And I can hear a roaring boil from the pot with the water in it. So level 3. As you can see now, this pasta dough here, it's a lot longer, but it's also a lot thinner too. So now it's level 4 the roller. Now this pasta roller goes all the way up to 7, but I personally like to stop it at level 5. I think that's where the dough is the thinnest yet most manageable. So yeah, look how long this is at level 4. It's long, but it ain't thick. There's another inappropriate joke there somewhere, but I am not bold enough to tell it. And also, this is so long that it's becoming almost borderline unmanageable. I got not a lot of space to work with here. There's so many puns here you could make when making pasta here. So I'm going to take my pizza wheel, cut it there, get a plate just to make sure everything is all semi-sanitary. But anyway, this is at level 4. So now level 5, my favorite setting. Put this back in there. Roll it if it wants to go in. There we go. That is number 5. So yeah, there we go. I have another plate here to put the pasta noodles when they are done. And I'm going to do that. Taking this crank, putting it into the fettuccine roller attachment. I might not have enough camera for this, but you know what? Get some stuff in the background there. But anyway, next, I load the dough into the cutters. But here we are. All right. It's coming out. It's coming out. The noodles are coming out. So now I scoop my hand underneath. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Yummy. Put that here. Now, let's go back to the roller. It's already at number 5, so I'm going to put this in the roller. The crank is on the roller too, so that's good. You don't want to go. Let's encourage it on this side a little bit. There we go. Thin out the tiniest bit. It is a 5. It is going in the roller, so. Am I even cranking it right? Yeah, I am. This thing's just a little bit wider than I want it to be, so anyway. Here we go. We're at level 5 now. Sometimes you will see uneven spaces here. That's normal. Nothing that you can't deal with. Plus, pasta is kind of cool when it's not all a uniform width or length. Anyway, so now let's roll the fettuccine into here. Fettuccine in potentia to make it raw fettuccine. Oh, that didn't exactly go in right, but I think we'll be fine. There we go. So there is the fettuccine. And here is all the fettuccine. So now that the pasta water is cooking, let's turn our attention over to the stove top, where we have our pasta water here. Now, you may have seen on TV some devices like where you just hang these noodles and such. That's fine if you want to dry them or cook them later. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to dump these noodles right into there as soon as I check some comments here, if anybody is watching. Probably nobody, but let's see. Oh my goodness! Bob the Raptor! Long time no speak, my good raptor friend, my good dinosaur friend. And then I see an Eli there. Hi, Bryno. Hello, Eli. And yes, I'm at level, and yes, Bob, this is at level 5. My roller goes up to level 7, but I've played around with level 6, and that's, at least with whole wheat pasta, it was too difficult to manage. It would just literally break up as it goes through the roller. But then again, I was kind of a newbie at that time. And yes, it is a very labor-intensive process, but I feel it's worth every bit of effort. But one good thing about this point right now, I'm going to dump the pasta in now. Fresh pasta takes almost no time to cook. Like, I'm going to guess for this, maybe 5 minutes. I'm going to call it 5 minutes for this. So, ready? 3, 2, oh, I forgot one important thing. You got to salt the water a little bit. I forgot to do that at the beginning. So there we are. Let's let it bring back to a boil. Let's also take a look at this sauce here. I don't know, maybe I don't know if I left it on there too long. I don't know if it's burning or if it's just the sauce is fine. I think it'll be fine though. The cream cheese will dilute it out. But anyway, water's boiling. In goes the pasta in 3, 2, 1. And, oh, it's sticking. Not for long though. There we go. For my sanity, 4 minutes of a timer. While I'm waiting for that, I think I'm sort of done with the sauce here, so I'll turn the back burner off. Little whisking here. Yeah, this sauce looks like it's going to be fine. It's probably best I took it off the burner. Now, at this point, scaling the recipe down, I would use 3 ounces of cream cheese. Cream cheese you can see. I've only got 2 ounces though from my last batch I made. So I'm going to put all this in here. But I'm going to replace the remaining 1 ounce with something kind of nice. First, boom, that goes in there. As I go into my fridge, the replacement 1 ounce, replacing the 1 ounce of cream cheese that's missing will be 1/4 cup of Parmesan cheese. Now, I've never done this before. I think it'll give a good taste because obviously Parmesan goes well with pasta. And what better than putting Parmesan in the sauce? And Bob is saying, why saltwater for flavor? Yes, it is for flavor. It's also kind of traditional with the Italian cuisine, with the Italian, so to put salt in the water. It gives it a little, yeah, it does give it a little bit of flavor. And Eli's saying that the noodles are torqued. Well, these are very, very, these are not dry noodles. They're very, very damp, moist noodles, so it's okay for them to be like that. So anyway, Parmesan goes into the sauce. Let me do a little something something here with the noodles. I see Big Fatty here. Hey boss, hello. But anyway, let's take this. I think using the whisk initially was a bad idea. So I'm going to break up the cream cheese with a spoon at first. That's what I did the last time anyway, off camera. So a little bit of work will go into this sauce here. Meanwhile, I'm worried that the pasta might boil over. No big deal, it's just going to leave a mess on my stovetop. And by the way, if I did say before, thanks to all of you for coming in, leaving some comments and such. Far better than the last video I did where I think a grand total of nobody commented. But hey, look at this. I'm surprised. I didn't think the Parmesan cheese would melt into the sauce as easily as it did. Perhaps, maybe. But then again, this was on a hot stove, so science. But yeah, this is looking pretty good. And now I think it's at a point where I can whisk away at this. I'm trying to find the colander. Crisis averted. So now, 22 seconds left on the noodles, so that was not a good idea. I put the octopus on the recently turned off burner. Thankfully nothing melted or caught on fire. Leave that there for the moment because the pasta is done. And I shall now divert the camera over to the colander where the noodles go a goosh. Turn the burner off on the stove top, turn off the timer. And I don't think I need to do this because I'm going to be eating this quickly, but just to make sure the noodles don't stick. A little drizzle of olive oil. And then a little toss. Those look nice. Get a close up of that. Good noodles if I do say so myself. Now, while those are cooling, I'm going to continue to mix up and stir up. Let's move this over here. Take this sauce here. Keep whisking it until it's smooth enough to my liking. Yeah. I don't know, would this be better with a power mixer? Yeah, probably would, but you know what? I think a few chunks of cream cheese or whatever will make this thing, will still make it good. But anyway, look at the color of this thing. It's almost orangish. This is exactly how I remember it when I made it the first time. Yeah. Do it this style here, put it on the old flat burner just to get some residual heat, do some meltiness to it. Again, thank you everybody for dealing with me. This video has gone on a lot longer than I thought it would be. Just the dough was just a little more damp than I wanted it to be. Put in too much water, but yeah, it's going to be worth it in the end. Well, for me at least. You know what I'm going to call this? Oh, we got a little bit of stringy action here. That's definitely from the Parmesan. So there is that. Let's get this mess cleaned up a little bit here. So that I think the noodles are, I'm going to call the noodles done. So I'm going to back the camera up a little bit. Back to the usual spot. Crank that up. See the sweat dripping off my face because I've been standing over a burner. Is this thing still there? Noodles there. Let's get a serving bowl. And of course there's none in here right now. They're in the washer. Yep. These are clean, by the way, don't worry. Nice big clean serving bowl. Take the fettuccine. Blop. That's semi-disconcerting. Ow, 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 ow. That was not too smart, but not too dumb either. Yeah. Maybe put a little too much olive oil on this. It's feeling kind of weird. But now, my last big spoon. Probably should have used the one I used earlier. In fact, that's what I'm going to do. Where is it? Here. Oh, no, it's right there. I'm so organized if you haven't noticed by now. Alright. Let's scoop on some of this cream cheese Parmesan marinara. I don't know if I can even call this marinara anymore. It smells delicious though. Oh my goodness. I wish you could smell this. I really wish you could. And as you can tell, I like this sauce a lot. It's because I'm obviously putting a lot on it. think that'll be enough for this serving here. So let's get a close-up of that. That's as close as I'm willing to get without it sliding off the plate. So now, you cannot see it on camera, but I'm going to slicey dicey, not slicey dicey, but just slice it. Because these are pretty long noodles, even though they are, well, you saw how long noodles were. Now for a good mixing, good tossing. Gotta make sure all the noodles get enough sauce. We got the sauce here. Of course, this ain't Muscles marinara, this is fat ass marinara. And of course, none of my jokes are clever. Okay. Alright, taste test of the sauce. Didn't get enough to appreciate the whole flavor, but I can definitely taste the bits of the Parmesan that are in there. They didn't melt completely, but you know what? I think that's fine. So anyway, final shot of the real cream cheese marinara on homemade fettuccine noodles. And oh, my comment app is disappeared, which means I have to put the stinking password in again because my tablet is stupid. Wrong password, but it's my tablet. I'll miss one character and it screws everything up. Let's see. Bob the Director says, how different is the sauce with Parmesan cheese? Well, I can't tell you because this is the first time I've done it with Parmesan cheese. Eli, would the extra olive oil change the flavor once the sauce is on? It probably would, but again, for me, the bit was to try to keep the noodles from sticking together, and obviously, as you saw, it didn't really do it that well. Bob the Raptor, that looks amazing. Big Fatty, that looks dope. Well, it does look good. It does look fantastic. Now to find out if it tastes fantastic. It looks just like when I made it before, but I'm wanting to see how the Parmesan impacts it. So anyway, here we go. Homemade fettuccine with the Parmesan cream cheese marinara sauce. Cheers. Mmm. 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 Again, honestly, it tastes a little bit less creamy than before. I mean, the first time I ever made this stuff, I put in a boatload of cream cheese, a whole block of cream cheese for a batch twice as big as that. And it was super creamy, super awesome, but the cream kind of overpowered everything, and that kind of ruined it. So I dialed it down to 6 ounces, and it turned out good. The balance was good. This is still a little bit less creamy than before, but it's still fantastic. It's still really, really good. Let's try another bite here. I'm also getting a good amount of Is that the cayenne pepper? I'm getting the heat of the cayenne pepper, but honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm actually tasting a little bit more of the tomato sauce here than I did the last time I made this. First time I made it, I had tasted too much cream. Last time it was kind of a good balance. This time I'm getting some of the tomato. It's a little suppressed, but honestly, I think that's a good thing. Now I'm starting to wonder though, if putting the Parmesan in there was a mistake, because I'm worried the Parmesan might be getting lost amongst all the very, very powerful ingredients in here. Let's see, Do you watch Report of the Week? No, I do not. But anyway, I was tempting myself before I came here. I was getting the tomatoes before coming here. I was wondering myself whether I should get Asiago for this, since that's got a good strong flavor, where that would match up well with here. And I didn't because it was on the expensive side, but maybe next time. Thought for later. But either way, still, this is good stuff, and I'm definitely going to finish this. One more bite. I'm not getting too much saltiness from the noodles with the extra salt in there. I could have sworn the last few times I've done it, I've gotten it, but then again, this is a very, very powerful sauce with a lot of flavors in it, so any saltiness from the noodles could easily get lost. But either way, it's very, very rewarding. If difficult, time-consuming, takes a lot of effort, but in my opinion, it is definitely worth it to make your own pasta if you've got the means and the tools to do so. And adding cream cheese too. It doesn't have to be a homemade marinara. You can just buy a jar of marinara sauce or pasta sauce anywhere. Put in some cream, heat it up on a stove top, put some cream cheese in it, and you got something really, really fantastic. That part, at least, I highly recommend that you try if you don't mind having the extra poundage on you like I do. So, now that I have returned, if only for one night, one last check of the comments about the Raptors. So to make this even more unhealthy, add bacon. Believe it or not, one of my cousins actually suggested that I add some bacon to this to make this sort of like a, in his words, something similar to a carbonara, even though there's no tomato at all in carbonara. Either way, I was thinking either bacon would be good. Maybe my first thought though was sausage. But yeah, bacon bits. I tempted myself to get a bag of the bacon bits to put that in there. Maybe that'll be for a future episode. But anyway, before I go, one more thing that I got when I got this pasta maker here, as if I didn't have enough for it, was this little concoction, which I've yet to try. This is a ravioli making attachment for the pasta maker. This is the little device that would cut the dough into appropriate ravioli width pieces. And as you can see in the roller here, there's a little bit of crimping action here. Put the ravioli pieces together in place. This hopper goes on top here, or am I putting it on the right way? You just lay the dough in this way, put your filling in there, crank it, out comes ravioli out the bottom. That might, if I ever come back, if I do come back long term, this might be a cool series, Will It Ravioli? In the long tradition of Will It Blank, everywhere on YouTube and all over the internet. Well, at about maybe an hour, 7 minutes long, this was a lot longer than I thought it would be, but you know what? It's fun to do live stuff. So anyway, on that note, that will do it for another episode. Another episode. It's been 3 months since I did my last episode, but that'll do it for hopefully not the last episode of Bryno's World ever. I'm pretty sure it won't, but I won't be doing it weekly like I did last time. Just whenever I feel like it. Just because it's been a pain to edit videos and such. Editing's the worst part. But anyway, I'm still on Twitter, even though I don't check it as much. Same with the Facebook, and still watch the YouTube videos. And also, a little complaint about YouTube. For the longest time, some of my videos have been fine. I mean, but I don't make many money off this, but they demonetize some of my videos. And you know I don't do anything crude, rude, or crazy. And even when I got into the monetization stuff, when I'm doing the live stuff, I mean, again, not that I expect to make anything, they wouldn't let me monetize or just some of the stuff for this live video here. I know the artificial intelligence and machine learning stuff is working, but you know what? I'm going to stop right now before I go on another rant and add to the burning corpse that whatever it is. But anyway,
end this on a positive note. One more bite. That bite was the best. That bite, equal parts creamy, equal parts tomatoey, bit of zingy heat at the back. That's a good way to end the show. So anyway, with one last check of the comments here. First off, it's the Eli sausage. Sounds like it would be good. Yeah, that would be good. Let's see. Big Fatty, where did you get that pasta maker? That was a hand-me-down from my dad, who got it maybe about 1 year after I was born in the early 80s, believe it or not. And he just had not been using it for the last 30 years or so. And I just asked him, hey, you saw that pasta maker? Can I have it? He said yes to both of them. I'm having fun with this thing. Bob the Raptor, habanero ravioli. Believe it or not, when I've made some sauces, I've actually added some habanero powder to it because I love spicy stuff. But habanero ravioli, maybe putting real bits of habanero pepper mixed in with, say, the ricotta or ricotta mozzarella, or maybe some beef, and that would be crazy. Bob the Raptor, do more. We missed your channel. I miss doing these videos. It's just, it takes a long time to do these videos, as Bob, I'm sure you know. You can testify to that. But anyway, Eli, good cooking, Bryno. Thank you very much, Eli. But anyway, that will do it for the latest episode of Bryno's World Live here. Maybe I'll do more of the live stuff because it's easier. I don't have to edit anything. Just take up an hour of people's time, waste people's time. Maybe not waste my time because I get to make good stuff. Of course, but anyway, that will do it for the end of Bryno's World Live today. Thank you very much for watching. And if you haven't subscribed to my channel already, please do so. It's been 3 months since I've done this close, so I can't remember the words. Like, share, subscribe, all that wonderful business. I think I still have a store on Spreadshirt, but yeah, I wouldn't worry about buying anything from there just because who knows if I'm doing this live or ever. But anyway, once again, thanks for watching. Have yourself a good one. I'm going to finish that bowl of freaking awesome fettuccine, and I'm going to spend a few seconds trying to turn this live stream off. But anyway, thank you very much. It's been great to see and hear from y'all for a long time. Hopefully I'll have some more stuff coming up here in 2018. See you later.